The drums of war are calling, and Cyrodiil is torn between three factions in an alliance war between Bretons, Redguards, and Orcs of the Daggerfall Covenant, the Nords, Dark Elves, and Argonians of the Ebonheart Pact, and the High Elves, Wood Elves, and Khajiit of the Aldmeri Dominion. The war is not only for territory, but for the right to rule all of Tamriel. Once players hit level 10 in the Elder Scrolls Online, they can enlist in the perpetually ongoing battle. Each faction has its own impenetrable starting keep, but once players leave the safety of those walls, anything goes. All of Cyrodiil is one large open map. It's enormous. Across the landscape are several small towns, bandit camps, caves to explore, and 18 castles to conquer in the name of your homeland. But conquering the castles is just one step towards the greater good. The real prizes are the Elder Scrolls themselves. When an alliance controls an Elder Scroll, that scroll gives a stat bonus to all its people. In order to secure the Elder Scrolls, they can be moved to any keep within the realm, but the danger of moving a scroll is that their location is constantly visible on the open world map, so the scroll carrier is vulnerable to interception out in the open. But before you go blind reading an Elder Scroll, some castles need to be crashed, and for that, you need the strength of numbers and siege weapons. If an alliance holds control over two connecting castles and all their satellite resource encampments like farms and mines, a fast travel network link is established for that realm. If you die at the hands of the enemy, you can respawn in any castle that is connected within your realm's network. If you happen to die from an NPC or an NPC-controlled monster, then you spawn all the way back at your alliance's main keep, which should impress extreme caution on players who happen to be exploring the depths of one of the caves of Cyrodiil. By using siege equipment and overwhelming the enemy with numbers, an army can overtake supply points, and eventually they can crash down enemy walls or bust open the main gate. If a castle is under siege and it's cut off from the Alliance network, players can't spawn there anymore upon death, but craftier players will place spawn camps inside the walls to help keep up the defense. The battles themselves are enormous and heart-pounding. We've taken part in defenses of some castles that lasted for a few hours, as one side is frantically trying to blast open a door, while the other side is doing their best to repel the invaders while repairing the castle on the fly. Epic is the only way to describe it. Siege and repair equipment can be purchased and used by anyone by using gold found in the PvE portion of the game, or using realm points in the realm versus realm portion of the game. Realm points, which are gained by killing other players, can also be used to purchase unidentified magic armors that are often superior to the ones found sold by merchants in the PvE portion of the game, giving players who are accustomed to playing only the PvE a reason to join in the multiplayer conflict. On the flip side to that coin, the best armors in the game are crafted and enchanted by players, giving multiplayer lovers a reason to skip back into the rest of Tamriel. Dark Age of Camelot players should be having blissful flashbacks at this point, because the system used in Elder Scrolls Online is nearly identical, except the combat is much faster this time around. Elder Scrolls Online, however, automatically artificially levels everyone in the realm versus realm areas to level 50, thereby giving everyone a fighting chance. But the skills unlocked at higher levels and the equipment worn by players play a major role in how effective they are in multiplayer. Players with veteran and elite statuses will have a stat advantage over level 10 newbies. Sadly, when players aren't in battle, Cyrodiil is on the empty side, but of course the castles are still protected by a handful of NPCs. And because of the map's enormous size, sometimes players will feel like they've been running forever without seeing any signs of life. It could easily be spruced up with random or wandering hordes of NPC enemies, which would add another layer of danger to the Alliance war. There are also valuable crafting materials found in Cyrodiil, like ebony deposits, which, again, gives players who are typically PvE MMO players a reason to poke their heads out every once in a while. The realm versus realm war of the Elder Scrolls Online is probably going to be a game changer for a lot of people. There are few games that do fantasy battles at this level and scale. It is thrilling to sneak behind enemy lines and set fire to their siege weapons, or spy on incoming bands of enemies to report back a head count and troop movements to the leaders of your alliance. This type of multiplayer gaming feels more like a war, and less like, oh, we're playing this map again. But, as with all multiplayer games, the conflicts will only be as good as the number of players that join in. If no one fights in the war, Cyrodiil will be a boring place. If everyone joins in the struggle over the control of the Elder Scrolls, then Elder Scrolls Online is going to be a very exciting battleground.